Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dad's listening to Tomcats. Talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of the Penny Bloom Podcast. It is I, Colton Robertson, and today I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
What up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Today, the 52-year journey through film continues. As you know, but some new listeners might not, the 52-year journey through film has been quite the project. We're now well over halfway through, and now we're all the way up to a decade ago. We started back in 1970, and once a week, every week, we've covered a movie from each succeeding year, all the way through the 70s, all the way through the 80s, all the way through the 90s, including a perfect week, 7 days, 7 pods for the 90s in the year 1994. Tons of good movies from that year. All the way through the aughts, and here we are in the 10s. We've covered Inception, we've covered Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and now it's 2012. And we're covering Django Unchained. Now, confession, I had never watched this movie.
Wow.
It's one that I've always heard, you gotta see this. You have to see this. And there's always been something about it that made me go, but I won't. And, you know, I come out the other side of this movie. You know, I like Tarantino's style. He's got a lot of interesting quirks, and it shines through in this movie. But I'm not left floored the way I thought I might be. From what I've heard of Django Unchained, it was solid. But here we are. How are you feeling about it, Joe?
Well, I was, I guess the easiest comparison to make is his other Tarantino movies that we've covered, even Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2. And I think I enjoy this more than Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction just really didn't hit. It just never quite hit fully. Django,
that's a really good way to put it. Pulp Fiction didn't quite hit. There is a stretch in this movie that does hit. Like, I love the ending of this movie. It's really, really solid.
But it wasn't Kill Bill. And before I watched this, I thought that this would be my favorite Tarantino movie that we've covered so far. And after watching, there's no way I could put it above either of the Kill Bills, I think.
Yeah, I don't think I could either. I think it's really, really. Well, you know what? Let's lay the groundwork for the people before I dive too deeply into this. We got Django Unchained, release Christmas Day 2012, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, starring Jamie Foxx. You know, a lot of people I trust have this as their favorite Tarantino movie. A lot of people whose opinions I trust, they say this is their favorite Tarantino movie. And like, in essence, yes, the very premise is the most appealing of any Tarantino movie. Freed slave turned bounty hunter killing slave owners. Sounds baller. Fuck yeah, I'm in. You know, like that's a grand premise. But we don't really get there until the last 45 minutes. It's a lot of scenes that are really, really hard to watch. And I don't think Tarantino was exactly going for palatable. You know, movies about slavery are hard to watch. That's just it. They just are, you know, like there are just so many moments in this movie where I'm like seething. Like I am mad at what I'm watching. It's to the point where I'm like I thought about texting you multiple times last night. Like, I might not be able to finish this movie. Like I might, I was like breathing heavy and like getting overwhelmed. I'm like, I might have an anxiety attack because of this movie. And it
is a long one at that too. Yeah, it's not like it's you just got to get through like an hour and a half. No, you got to sit there for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
No, you got to sit there for 2 hours going through absolute fucking hell. Get like a 10 to 15 minute stretch where shit is popping off in a good way. Then you get another about 7 to 8 minutes that are incredibly difficult to watch, and then we bring it on home and it's okay. But you get a good 22 to 25 enjoyable minutes in this movie. For me, I think Tarantino's got this thing, and he did it in Pulp Fiction, he did it in Kill Bill, where he will put forth the worst, most gruesome, disgusting, vile things a human being can do to another human, and be like, don't worry, the hero's gonna murder them brutally in a second. He does it in everything. He did it with Beatrix Kiddo. She's laying in the hospital bed and the dudes are talking over her like, you pay me the right amount of money, I'll let you do whatever you want to her. Da, 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 da. She wakes up, murders both their asses. Like it was implied that these dudes have sexually assaulted her on multiple occasions. Like some terrible, vile, disgusting shit. She gets to murder them in a second, though. It's okay. Butch in Pulp Fiction, Bruce Willis's character gets sexually assaulted by those dudes in the sex den, that is sex slavery den, and then he gets to murder them, so at some point it feels less like getting the hero to like a joyous moment where the hero destroys the evil, and more like I needed an excuse to do the evil on screen. And I knew I could if he got brutally murdered the next scene.
Yeah, I guess this is the one movie where I guess it would make more sense than Kill Bill or Pulp Fiction, because people back then, like at this time, were closer to like that.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the thing, is that it makes 100% context, 100% sense in this context. I think like this is the best example of it, because the whole movie is that.
I guess what's the balance between, if you're going to make a movie that deals with slavery in it, you don't want to glorify it and make it seem that it was easy or nothing, but at the same time, you don't want to go too far and seem that you're
fetishizing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and what's the balance there?
Well, it was just that there are things you can do in a movie to let us know this is happening. Scenes dragged on. Yeah, we can get a couple seconds, and I get the gist. This is terrible. You let these two men beat each other to death for 7 minutes. That's fair. You show me a white man whipping a black woman for 5 minutes. That hurts. That I get that it's supposed to be uncomfortable. I get that it's supposed to be like, yeah, this was real. This happened. Think about that. And in that regard, it's certainly well done. I just don't know if it's just not enjoyable. That's the thing, is that we talk about for our enjoyment rating how much a movie resonates with us. And there are parts of this movie that it's like, how much did you emotionally connect with it? And I emotionally connect with every slave in this movie. It makes me very, very, there's so many parts of this movie that are not supposed to be sad, but like I'm like, oh my God, this is devastating. Like there's nothing happening on screen that is inherently sad per se, but it's just the very idea. I'm just like, oh my God, this is fucking devastating. But it's also not what they were going for at all times. It was just a general empathy and disgust with the ways of this time that made me feel that way. It wasn't just it wasn't because it was like, oh, Tarantino's really like bringing me to tears here with this. No, in fact, he did the opposite on most occasions. And it's not the point of the movie to move me to tears, you know, like it really isn't. You know, we get that whole scene where they write the fucking, what I'm assuming is the precursor to the KKK, riding up in their masks, and they all have that meeting for like, and this is another example of like, these scenes are why the movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes and not 2 hours and 22 minutes. Like we can cut some of this down. And this one, like, it was a funny fucking joke where he was like, all right, we're going to ride in there. And he's like, I can't see shit out of these things. What? So like, and like, it's fun for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
But he just like, that was another like 5 to 6 minute scene of nothing but that joke
going. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Maybe like Tarantino was like, oh, I actually stumbled on something a little funny. Let me stretch it out for a good 7 minutes because I'm so proud of it. You know, or I don't know. Like, it like the style is super weird. You know, it like the quick cuts. You know, like zoom in
that's exactly what I do
like
love that though. Like whenever someone like turns and they like zoom in on his face real hard, and he's like it's like really dramatized, and
it's very I don't know. That like those parts make it somewhat enjoyable. You know, like when those parts come up. But then like, you're thrown right back in.
I have little to no beef with this movie. Like it is very well done. It's just like critically, I have no doubts this is a good movie. You know, like it is. It's very well done.
Subject matter.
Like I'm just gonna have a hard time liking what you're putting forth. And it's like it's no beef. It's just that like that shit is hard to watch. You know, that shit is just hard to watch. And but come the end of this movie, you know, the one thing I do like about this movie is they toe the line of the white savior complex, like we had with Avatar a few weeks back for the 2009 movie, without fully diving over it. You know, Christopher Waltz's character, the one who buys him and frees him, he's Django Freeman from that point on. Like he was an extreme aid to the cause, but he wasn't the reason it succeeded. You know, like if that last hour is him going on a rampage, then it's like, oh no. And it was close to that. It was close to that on a couple occasions, you know, where it was like, all right, we're still getting a little close there. But the fact that it is Jamie Foxx's Django that gets to go ahead and take that revenge is mad satisfying.
Okay. He got to kill DiCaprio. You know, he got his, you know, his fix. He got what he needed.
And I loved the way he was just like those like 5 minutes before that, he is just like seething, thinking about like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It'll be the end of me, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You want me to shake your hand? Yeah, come on. The deal's not done until you shake my hand. You want me to shake your hand.
Yeah. And what was that one? And something like, I think that you are, and he's like, I don't know. He just kept hitting him back. Like, I mean, dude was not having it. It took until him saying like, all right, I'm going to shoot Broomhilda here if you don't shake my hand. And then he's like, you know what? Okay, now I can kill you.
And it was the good old fucking Travis Bickle taxi driver gun.
It keeps coming back, man. It keeps coming back.
They set a fucking precedent with that, huh?
Crazy. For the awards for this movie, Christoph Waltz. Is it Christoph? Yeah. Christoph Waltz Really.
My bad. Christopher Waltz or Christoph
Is it?
Waltz.
I don't know. Maybe Christoph. It sounds more for
Yeah,
him for this
Christoph
movie.
Waltz, Austrian German.
Yeah,
He's Christoph. He's not
he won.
Christopher.
He won Best Performance by a Supporting Role Actor. For this.
And I don't really have any like another fucking just feather in the cap of this fucking movie is the performances are outstanding. Leonardo DiCaprio, oh my fucking god, can he play that character a little too well?
Yeah, and that's always a thing that like that's kind of like in poor taste is like, man, like,
oh, and
are
dude,
they
the
really
amount
just a
of
good
the
actor,
amount
or...
the amount of times the N-word was used, and like I get it, like because it was the time, and that's probably how they spoke in reference to black people. Like, I have no doubts, but like, wow, they're like, Emily was like laying down next to me as I'm watching this movie last night, and she looks up at me and she goes, "Oh my god, what are you watching?"
Yeah, no, that's the thing is that like, even if it's how they spoke back then, it's a movie that came out in
2012.
It does not need to happen now. Like you don't need to fully recreate the past.
And that's the thing is that like there's this line here where it's like, oh, he wants to show the bare bones disgusting nature of this era. So like it is all in graphic and horrifying and disgusting and vile. Like it's all in on that side of shit. And then there's the other side of it where it's 2012. We don't really need that. But is that us speaking from a place of wanting to be comfortable? But that's just not what Tarantino was going for. He doesn't want you to be comfortable watching this movie. I don't think it's definitely one that I don't think is exactly a comforting watch.
DiCaprio actually like cut his hand for real.
Yeah, so like that was one of the only things I knew about this movie going into it. I was like, when does he cut his hand? Because I was like, I've heard that story. Yeah. Like I don't know the scene.
The part that I don't know if the blood that he smeared on Broomhilda, if that was actually his real blood.
Yeah, so I was watching it like, holy shit, this is a really incredible performance. He's doing like, because he slams his hand down right and he starts bleeding and then he starts acting a lot more with that hand, I'm assuming to kind of deal with the pain he might have been experiencing. Like it's a really staunch difference. Before it happens, he's not really acting with his hand. The second he slams his hand down, he starts like moving his hand in really weird ways as he's talking.
It's because he like legit needed stitches. I think he was just like kind of trying to hold his hand together too.
Yeah,
because it was gushing, like it was coming out.
Yeah, and like respect to everybody there who was just like, oh wow,
just
like
keep it rolling, it rolling. Don't.
I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio is a nut. The dude's fucking crazy. As most of the best actors are. Like, this, and like it is just like to become someone else so effectively. Obviously, will do a thing to a human. I'm assuming, like, and not they're obviously. There are extreme cases like Leonardo DiCaprio becoming the characters he becomes. Like, I have no doubts he's one of those weird fucking method guys who like hardly leaves character. Have you seen that like behind the scenes video of him in the movie we'll be talking about next week, Wolf of Wall Street, where he's just like, he's standing there with his head down and he's like perfectly blank faced and he's just like, he like looks horrifyingly plain, and then like they go action and he like, hey, it's like, and he like takes on Jordan Belfort, and it's like, oh my fucking god, this guy's nuts.
Wow.
But so that part though, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then like when he does smear her face, I went, if this is real, that's problematic.
Yeah, like that's kind of fucked up. If
like
that's real.
if that is real, that's him being that psychopath in character. You know, I was like, some of the actors, like, they had to have had a rough time on set, like Kerry Washington. Like,
Okay. Okay. Can confirm it was fake blood that he
Good.
smeared on her face. It was so apparently he smashed his hand and they just kept it rolling. He kept going for a while and they gave him a standing ovation after they hit cut, and then they bandaged it up and then put fake blood back
they
on
had
it
to
let him,
maintain the
finish.
continuity
Yeah.
of him having cut his
Yeah.
hand. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I'm glad that's the case.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
because I was like, oh man, if that just happened, I'm gonna have a vastly new view of Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad to hear that, because I was just like, oof. I hope that was fake. Like, I was watching that, like, I hope that's not Leo just being so fucking in character that he rolled with that.
Wow. Even Leo couldn't handle the amount of slurs in a scene. He was having a difficult time just saying it, so he stopped. And Samuel L. Jackson took him to the side and said, "Motherfucker, this is just another Tuesday for us," is what he said to get him back to like back into the scene.
Yeah, I'd have been like,
Wow.
fuck, man, that's the attitude you take. Like, that's what you're
Wow.
saying to me to get me going like that? Like, now I really don't want to say it.
Wow. Yeah.
No, because he was throwing it around, and like the facial contortions he would do, and like the way he raised his eyebrows and thinned his lips and like had that weird little smile on his face, and it was like, oh, you are disgusting in this role. Another thing for me with this movie, I think Jamie Foxx is an extremely talented man, in many regards. I've never been like floored by his acting ability. I think he's solid, and he has put forth performances that are really, really good. And I'd say this is one that's on that side of it's definitely better than it isn't. You know what I'm saying? But like in a 2-hour and 45-minute movie where he's the main character, I don't feel like he has to do a ton. You know, he's playing a pretty stoic guy for the most part. And he plays it very effectively. I really enjoy the character of Django. That must have been a pretty hard one to act too, though. Like at points throughout the middle of the movie where he's riding on the horse above all of the slaves and like talking to them like he's better and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I know he's like in character, like he's in character for not just in character as in character for the movie, but in character as Django is in character for the thing they're trying to pull off. So it's like, I know it's layered and he's not actually feeling that way. Django isn't, but you know, it was just
still
like,
had to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's just something here that like, it couldn't have been easy for anybody. And the thing that like makes me feel weird about it is there's only one person who I think it might have not been difficult for, and it's Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
And that's what really makes me go eek in relevance to this movie, is like for everyone it seems like it would be hard, but there's one person on set who I'm like, I don't know if it'd be all that hard for him, and it's the director and writer.
It's the dude that's right behind the camera, listening and
on screen there for a few
word.
minutes. He gets absolutely blown the fuck up.
Yeah. Boom. He wanted to go out in style in this one. Which, I mean, sure. I mean, damn. But yeah, that end sequence though is really, really cool. Like,
I do like the ending.
If there is a like, it is I don't know, just a really fun sequence.
I mean, the action in this movie is extremely fun. There's very few scenes where Django's out shooting where it's not fun. You know, like it's he is fucking it up out there. And there's like this there's one specific shot that is hilarious to me. It's whenever he's in the house and he tells Hilda to say goodbye to I can't remember, but the plantation owner's wife, Miss Candy.
Lara Lee Candy
That's right.
Fitzgerald.
Yes, that's right. The
Wow.
sister to Leonardo DiCaprio's character. But whenever he says tell her goodbye and go ahead and get on out of here, and then he shoots Laura, dude, yeah, I was like, that was so funnily fake that was outstanding. He shoots her at like such a distinct angle and she shoots straight back.
Yeah.
It's the funniest shit.
Man, yeah, that was great. And then Django's like the lines he had, like, last time I saw you were touching me in my bam, shoots him right in the dick, which was nice. And then, like, usually cool guys don't look at explosions. They just walk away and they explode in the background. Nah, he turned around, put the glasses on,
reveled in that
shit.
glory.
He was like, "No, I'm watching it." Like, no, he earned that.
This
like
is Candyland.
Yeah, you can't destroy Candyland. Oh, yeah.
And Samuel L's character in this movie, man, what an interesting character there, huh? Got the Uncle Ruckus of the group. If you've seen Boondocks, he man, another one that must have been hard a little bit, at least,
Ugh.
And another character that all in all made me like sad when I first met him, and like this is of that time the version of institutionalization, like he was just like he succumbed to the system that enslaved him and started feeding it himself. And it's like oof, like, and it's interesting whenever like he gives orders, because they know orders coming from him are coming from Candy, Monsieur Candy, like
don't speak French, it'll embarrass him.
Don't speak French, it'll embarrass him. Man, I so like I do love the last 45 minutes to an hour of this movie.
Any awards you would give out? I already put it down for costume design. Django picking out his first outfit. The blue, like, he's like, "You're going to let me pick out my own clothes?" And he's like, "Oh, but of course." And then it just cuts to him on a horse in the bright blue. I was like, "Oh,
I loved it." I loved like the awe of everyone whenever he rode into town on a horse. Like, everyone came out and stopped and stared like, "Oh my God, what the fuck is going on right now?" And
the soundtrack was cool.
I loved the soundtrack.
Yeah, like little rap here and there, which was awesome.
Yeah, but
and then like the super western as well.
Yeah, there was this one song towards the end where I was like, "Oh my!" I think they were like going to Candyland. Like, I think that's about the time that it was playing, and there was some sort of song playing that I was just like, "Oh yeah, this slaps!" Like, I almost certainly going to be an addition to the movie and TV soundtracks playlist. But so yeah, I'd give it a soundtrack nod as well. I might go a couple supporting actor nods for now. Definitely a supporting actress nod for Kerry Washington. She dug deep into the bag for this. Like Leo, Christoph Waltz.
So she would be a supporting actress, or is she?
I guess she. Like, my thing is that she's not in the movie, save for the last 45 minutes, really. Okay. I mean, she pops up in the beginning in flashback sequences, I guess. So that's I guess she is the lead actress of this movie. So like, I'd be down to throw the lead actress nom as what like off top, and then if it comes to it eventually later on in the decade, and we have to make something change, who knows?
As Broomhilda.
Broomhilda
von, yeah, put the full name. Broomhilda von Schaft. And Django Unchained. And you said
Christoph, Leo, probably even Samuel L. Like, all three of those performances like are so fucking good.
And they're all supporting, you think?
Oh
Like,
yeah, none of them
so
are
like,
lead. I don't
what
think.
did you nominate Jamie or no?
I think we should for now, but he is an easy. He'll probably eventually become one that's easy to knock out for me. I think he did awesome as Django. I just don't think Django had a lot to capture. There's one really strong scene where he's begging his previous owner to whip him and not her, and like he got to dig really deep into the bag for that, and I thought that was solid. But other than that, he was very stoic and he was very just he was one way. He didn't have to provide a lot of range at a lot of points, I don't think. And I'm not a member of the Academy, so if someone else feels any differently about the performance and is like, "Oh, you're missing all the subtle nuances," like, then yeah, I probably am. But that's just where I sit. I think Jamie Foxx was solid, so I think he's deserving of the nod for now, but one that is probably subject to change.
I think that's fair. He's joining Leonardo DiCaprio as Cobb and Andy Serkis as Caesar. So we got some cool main characters up in here. But
yeah.
Fox as Django and Django. Let's see. Yeah, set design. It
was pretty cool. I think the design of the plantation house was pretty interesting. I thought that was and then like there's like Western cities they pull up to. I felt like I was in Sweetwater and Westworld at multiple points. So that shit was pretty cool. But there's a lot of traversing.
So it's just like landscape.
Yeah, it's a lot of landscape. So like it's hard to say set design for that,
Any writing or directing? I guess maybe directing for sure. Yeah.
Directing, yeah. I'd say like stylistically I have no beef with the way this was shot. They're like those shots where they are riding on the horses and they're looking up at Jamie Foxx, and like the sun is glittering through the trees, like it's like it looks like the exposure's turned up and there's like a glow coming off the sky surrounding Jamie Foxx, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's really, really cool. A lot of shots like that. Writing, I mean, I'm like, I think Quentin Tarantino is a better director than he is a writer. Like I stand by that. I would love Quentin Tarantino directed movies if he did not write them, but he's one of the dudes who he does it all. That's his bag.
I think that's fair. Yeah, Leonardo, Samuel L., and Christoph Waltz all getting this, supporting actor.
And what's crazy is like other people are gonna have to fucking bring it to dethrone all of them.
Yeah.
Because those three performances are so fucking strong. It's kind of nutty. Like maybe Jonah Hill next week with the Wolf of Wall Street. It's pretty strong. That's a pretty strong performance. But like there's not a lot of performances I can see overtaking it as far as supporting actors. Like it's kind of crazy, but
yeah, wow, it'll be interesting. Yeah, this Decade Awards will be very interesting because it's all people that we know very well now. It's like actors that we've seen in movies, like even still now, like that we still see. So I don't know, be interesting though, but
yeah.
I think that's all the awards that they deserve.
I think so too. For those who don't know or might be joining us for the first time, we do an end of decade award show where every time we wrap up, we've done the 70s, 80s, 90s, and aughts now. At the end of it, we do an award show where we pick from the movies we covered. And we have a little award show. It's a lot of fun. So we do that at the end of every episode these days where we try to throw out some noms. So it's I think Django Unchained is definitely deserving of plenty of critical acclaim. It's very, very well done, but it's not one that I to be frank, I don't know that I'll ever watch it again. I think I might at some point, but it's just a long trek for a short drink of water. As far as like the
Fair.
good,
Yeah.
the stuff I feel good about while I'm watching. But yeah, man, I don't have a lot else to say about Django Unchained. I thought it was really it was wildly entertaining. You know, like I didn't look away a lot. It felt like I should be watching. It just I don't know.
So, enjoyment wise, I'd say I
Yes,
enjoy it. Yeah.
you got to get to the 5-star rating.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
For those who are joining us for the first time, we do the Penny Bloom rating scale on a scale of 5 stars, and we have 3 categories: enjoyment score, just how much the movie connected with us and was an enjoyable experience overall as far as watching it. The genre score, how much it fulfills its genre, how well it does that out of 5 stars, and then critically, as a filmmaking wise, acting, writing, directing, soundtrack, all of that gets lumped in for that critical score. We take the mean of that, and therein comes the Penny Bloom rating. So we start with enjoyment. How you feeling?
Well, we gave Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 a 4.85, and that's the absolute ceiling, and I don't think it's really close to that. But I'd say I did enjoy it more than Pulp Fiction, which was a 3.75. So I guess we have the ceiling and the floor. So it's in here somewhere. And I'm looking at the movies, that I thinking it belongs with. And
I'm around that 3.85 alongside The Departed. I think it was solid. I think it was like another example of a movie that was really well made that was just not super fun to watch for my money. I thought it was really wildly entertaining. A lot of great performances that kept me in it. But like I said, it's hard to watch at points, man, and that's it can be painful. But
yeah, I'm right there with you. This is I don't know, I think this 3.85 is fair. Because then, our last movie, Inception, I think I enjoyed watching Inception a little bit, a little bit more. I guess we like this a little more than Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which I'd say is fair.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. I liked Rise of the Planet of the Apes plenty. I thought it was solid, but just not as.
I think I would revisit Django before I'd revisit Planet of the Apes. Actually,
I think I would too. Yeah, I think I would too.
Just barely. Well, I don't know.
So that might not be the best, because I think I would revisit Planet of the Apes before I revisited Django Unchained, just because like there's other stuff there beyond just story that I really like. I enjoy watching. It's just like it's another liberatory story about freeing yourself and liberating yourself from the shackles of humanity. And I thought Rise of the Planet of the Apes, it has the animals. I like animals. So True. It's like,
does have the animals. But I think 3.85 is fair though.
All right, cool. I'm glad we can agree there.
Genre wise,
as it fulfills its genre. So what? We got like a action western.
Yeah, it says drama western on IMDb.
All right. So, I can get behind that. It's strong. Like, I think this is going to be a strong rating for it. I think it does very effectively in capturing an old western style, as far as those like sudden camera turns and zoom ins on the faces and stuff like that. That's some old western ass shit.
And Tarantino likes his blood too.
Loves his blood.
Yeah, he loves. I mean, I don't know if that's how it really is, but like,
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I've never seen a man shot in front of me, but
man, he makes it known that these people are bleeding.
yeah, it's some high caliber weaponry
And
that they're getting slapped with.
I mean, I'd say, yeah, as a Western, it did it. The drama was
Compelling. Like I said, the story itself was the tension they created at points. Like it's solid. Like it's a really well done movie. I have a tough time connecting with it. I'd say it probably falls in that 4.6, 4.7 range. You know, like it's strong, but I wouldn't say it was a perfect Western.
I like 4.6. Puts it right below the Kill Bills, but above Pulp Fiction.
There you go.
Which is just nice. Some things just work out well here.
Sometimes, every now and then.
And now, as a film here,
I have a feeling this will be its strongest.
Yeah.
I think this is, it's certainly comparable with Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill as far as how well it's done. I think we probably are hovering more around that 4.75 range. I think that's feel a little more comfortable with that. Maybe even 4.7. Like it was really strong. I think it was more well written narratively than Pulp Fiction was, but I still don't think I enjoyed that the narrative was as good as the one they spawned for us over the course of Kill Bill and Kill Bill Volume 2, stylistically it had all those elements, soundtrack was strong, performances were nuts. So yeah, I think I hover around that 4.7.
I think I like that too. Wow. I think I like that too, is what I was trying to say there.
It got kind of sexy on me there.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, sorry about that. Little cloggage in the good old throat there.
Yeah, I think I like that. Going full cap at the end of Endgame on me.
Wow.
No, I don't think I will.
But nah. This 4.7 makes sense, and it will round the overall score out to a 4.38, which puts it 4.38 tied exactly with American Graffiti.
I'm with it.
Above Pulp Fiction.
Below A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, well below Kill Bill. Kill Bill is 4.8 and 4.7.
Just had that enjoyability on it. Like the enjoyability score really hurt Django Unchained here. Like that was definitely something that hurt it. But nevertheless, I would say it was a more positive experience than it wasn't as far as critically viewing a film. I think like 4.38, if you're putting that on a scale of 10, that's basically an 8.8. It's kind of nuts. That's a really good movie.
Dude, no, this soundtrack actually goes. I've been listening to it this whole time, and like the main theme, or Django's theme just came on. Where it's like Django, this soundtrack and like Rick Ross, like 100
Rick
Black
Ross.
Coffins, which is sick. Jamie Foxx is even on here.
Jamie Foxx is
Christoph
so
Waltz is on
talented.
here.
Jamie Foxx is fucking nuts.
Christoph Waltz and Jamie Foxx have a song together called "In the Case, Django, After You." Oh, never mind. This is just a line from the movie.
Oh, okay.
It's not even. Cool. It's not a song. Wow, that's a little disappointing.
Cool.
That'd have been sick if they sung together. But Tupac.
Oh yeah, Tupac definitely had a song on here. I was watching the movie and I was like, oh, they figured out they bought the rights to a Tupac song. They got that because I heard it and I was immediately like, oh fuck yes.
Unchained, the Payback Untouchable is what the song is called on Spotify. 45 million streams, the most on the album.
Rightfully so. R.I.P. to Tupac Shakur. But I really, really enjoyed this movie. Jamie Foxx is mad talented. One of my favorite bits of his of all time. He's also like stand-up comedian, music artist, actor, dancer. You name it, whatever the fuck. He's a Renaissance man in the modern day. He's mad talented,
dude. Yeah.
But he has this stand-up bit where he's talking about like relationships and him and his girl like being like, oh, I love you, but I hate you so much. You know, I come home and it's just like fuck you. Whoa, whoa. And he starts singing into the mic. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And he like hits this crazy note and it's like, oh my God, this man's so talented. It's just not fair.
Yeah. I mean that he's just a jack of all trades. Dude can do anything he wants. And he's like just he finds himself in the most insane situations, like throwing a house party and then making a song with Kanye the next like day or like literally the same day. And like
that fucking Trump fanatic that rushed Dave Chappelle on stage and was like wearing a Make America Great Again hat and everything. Dave Chappelle, Busta Rhymes, and Jamie Foxx beat his ass.
Yeah, they beat the fuck out of that dude.
Jamie Foxx, Busta Rhymes, and Dave Chappelle just jumped a fucking guy. This year, in the year of our Lord, 2022, Jamie Foxx beat the shit out of a Trump supporter, and I love that. You know, like that's just like it doesn't get much better than that. You know, it's kind of fuck Dave Chappelle these days. I'm not really with it, but I fuck with Jamie Foxx, and I will till I die.
Yeah. That man he's a talented man, and what a world we live in. We really like if aliens are watching, you know, the Earth reality show. Like, damn, we're really each season just keeps getting crazier.
It gets
and
nuttier.
Crazier.
It just gets fucking wild.
God
damn.
But yeah, no, this is about where I feel with Django. Just not quite Kill Bill, but above Pulp Fiction, and that's where it ended up going.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So Django Unchained on the old Penny Bloom film scale winds up at a 4.38 out of 5 stars. It's a pretty strong outing. It's looking like the month of October.
So
it's looking like the month of October is going to be on the weaker side as compared to a lot of other months. If I had to guess so myself, still above a 4 out of 5, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we've had further dips. We've had those 3 point somethings with like Training Day and a few others.
The Mask, Spaceballs, always a classic to come back to. Spaceballs, it's permanently at the bottom
on every tier.
Film enjoyment. Oh, not genre. MASH is 0.1 below. Spaceballs on the genre, so it does win in something, but yeah, also Scarface dips below Blade Runner,
Taxi Driver,
yeah, and good old MASH there at the tippy top.
Yeah, I definitely say Django Unchained's better than all those. So with that, we conclude this episode of the Penny Bloom podcast. We have continued the 52-year journey through film today, and we will continue again next week. This week was 2012, which means next week is 2013, in which we will be covering The Wolf of Wall Street to wrap up October. Cannot wait for that. I hope you come back and join us. If you would, head to patreon.com/CoroBloom, where you'll find probably over 30 hours of exclusive content at this point, and all that money goes back into making sure I can put this podcast on. That's very, very helpful. Head to Twitter, follow @PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram @PennyBloomPodcast. Please, for the love of God, leave a rate and review. 5 stars, if you will. I'd prefer not to have a negative review. It's kind of hurts my feelings and kind of hurts our chances of growing. But if you leave those 5-star rating reviews, maybe we get the chance to fly up some charts. Maybe we get a chance to, actually make money for the podcast. That'd be dope. That'd be cool. I mean, I do this for the fun of it, but if I could get some, scroll off of it, I'd be down for that. Yeah. See, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, and it is always a pleasure to have you. Remember, peace, love, and bloom.
Auf Wiedersehen.